Mobile device you got, how's it going to change everything you do when it comes to the way you interact with the brand? And if you have a company, how do you need or what do you need to be doing when it comes to your mobile device so consumers can connect with you? Ken Rutkowski, Business Rockstars, KFWB News Talk 980. Simon Mainwaring is joining me, and he is, Simon, I'm going to call you a ad guy slash messaging positioning guy slash conscious capital, conscious good, social good. I mean, you have so many titles. You have a business card that folds open with all the titles.
I would put it this way. I mean, my company, we first specializes in strategic storytelling and social technologies to build a better world.
Again, that would be a fold open card.
That may well be the case, yes.
You mentioned earlier that mobile is really what's changing everything. It allows people to interact. It allows people to, you just tweeted out a photo just now of us hanging out.
Absolutely.
People could follow you on Twitter by going to?
At Simon Mainwaring. It's spelled Mainwaring. Mainwaring.
So I've said it right.
I spent half of my adolescence spelling my name. It's the bane of my existence.
Mainwaring is the way it's spelled, but Mainwaring is the way it's said.
I respond best to hey you.
Hey you.
Yeah.
But that mobile device, and we're just at the, I would say, the beginning of really smart mobile, right?
Right.
Where do you see it going?
Consider this. Well, firstly, the landscape has changed in the sense that can we turn back the web? No.
No.
Can we turn back social media? No. Can we turn back smartphones? No. Given that, let's look at the relative importance of PCs and smartphones. If you consider that $20 smartphones are now being distributed around the world, and if you consider that the combined viewing audience of terrestrial television, the normal television we watch, is estimated, depending on who you read, around 1 billion people. And if you look at the combined viewership of something like YouTube, which is estimated around 1 billion people, consider the fact that in the next 5 to 10 years, 3 billion more people on the planet will be receiving these small, cheap smartphones.
Under $20, in some cases, completely free.
Or completely free for all the reasons we know from a business point of view. In which case, where are the majority of people going to be consuming their content? Through a 3 by 5 inch screen. In which case, if your business is not social by nature, and if your content is not created in a way that makes it accessible and innately shareable on social channels through a smartphone, you're missing out on your audience, in which case you've got no sales, in which case you've got no business.
But that's moving forward. That's not today. How
No,
far?
absolutely. It's today.
That's today?
When you consider the number of eyeballs that are migrating away from PCs towards mobile phones, if you consider the younger audiences, for example, millennials and Gen Zs, for example, my daughters who are 14 and 10.
Do you want to do a shout out real quick?
No, my daughters, Aisha and Talia, very proud of them,
Okay.
who are 14 and 10, they prefer Instagram. Having grown up in a culture of sort of intuitive technology and multi-screen living, they just like to relate with their friends through Instagram. In which case, you know, they don't know how, even 5 years ago, the preoccupation we had to use our PCs, our personal computers to do it. So there's a whole generation and whole different sort of demographics coming through that really not only grew up with the web and social media, but are really just more comfortable with a smartphone than they are with, you know, even a personal computer.
So now step back and go after that generation of your kids, okay? I'm a brand. I need to connect with them in whatever they're using. If it's Instagram, how do I get my brand in front of that Gen Z?
Exactly. The first thing is most companies don't know who they are, in which case nobody can talk about them. So the first thing you've got to do is define what your brand story is. And secondly, as I said, you've got to frame it in terms of the interests of your audience, your customers. So if you're doing something good, because we all start a company for a reason. There's a reason we do it. There's a need. So if you frame it not in terms of, hey, aren't we great because we do X, but rather here's what X can do for you, then you've got a platform to work off. And then, specific to each channel, it might be a short YouTube video, it might be a 6-second Vine video, it might be snapshots of what your employees are doing. That will allow different audiences who prefer different channels to use it. Here's a concrete example. Richard Branson the other day, Virgin Atlantic, their tagline is flying in the face of the ordinary. They're kind of the rebel. That's his personality with Virgin through all his different companies and so on. And one of the hostesses, when the plane landed, she got carried by one of the ground crew across the tarmac because it was wet. And someone took a photograph and put that out there on Instagram, and it just said flying in the face of the ordinary. There's a ground crew carrying a hostess. Concrete example of how you can bring a big platform to life through Instagram in a way that would be shareable.
And that became viral.
And that became viral, and everyone loved it, and they thought it was charming.
But that means someone's got to be subscribed to the Instagram, or the channel that Virgin has on Instagram, right?
Right, exactly.
Well,